As soon as I see 7 o'clock. Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the August 19th West Rock Hill Township Board of Supervisors meeting. Would you all please rise and join me in the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, can I remind everyone to silence your cell phones, please, if you do have them on you? First on the agenda is public comment on agenda items. If you have public comment on the agenda items, could you please come to the podium and state your name and address? Seeing none, announcements. First announcement I'll make is Mr. Shermer will be unable to attend tonight with us. And we will be having an executive session tonight after the meeting to discuss some legal issues. Third on the agenda is consent agenda, July 15th meeting minutes, the WIN plan review status, escrow release and vouchers, action on plans about to expire, emergency services report, the building and zoning and building permit report, public works report, and Mr. I'll ask you to read the treasury report, please.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The general fund is $1,021,672.35. Highway aid is $278,684.91. Open space is $1,209,264.47. The park fund is $92,057.29. The equipment fund is $40,180.89. Highway capital $153.38. Street light $43,047.58. The reserve funds, the general fund reserve, $538,268.42. Open space Manderfield, $42,600.99. The sewage maintenance fund, $229,677.81. The stormwater fund, $1,604.88. And the escrow funds, $990,437.88.
Mr. Rice, you have any questions for?
No questions.
Okay. With that, I will accept the motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion's been made. I'll second. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. All right, moving forward. Confirmed appointments. Mr. Miller.
Thank you.
Good evening.
It's been 5 years since we put in our solar array, and I just giving my annual report. I do this in the fall of every year because if you want to jump to the next slide, Sherry, real quickly, the goals we set out to do is reduce carbon emissions, offset 100% of the taxpayer-funded electricity costs, reduce taxpayer expenses, and transparency and education. We make it available to anyone in the public who wants to see it. We've even had several, probably 25 other municipalities come in, and they're all working on their own plans, and they're using us as a sample. Okay, next. Environmentally, we've reduced carbon emissions in the first year by 810,000 pounds. That's all I really have to say about that. It's helping us keep the air cleaner. You can't see this line very well, but I can tell you what it says. Sorry. When we started this project, we were under 6 cents per kilowatt 5 years ago. Right now, it's well over 12 cents per kilowatt, and it keeps going up. Every year, we're saving more and more money. All right. So that's really this is just there to kind of give you an estimate of what the township is saving on with the solar array. For the first 5 years, our goal was the lower line there is 84 megawatts. Our goal was to make at least 84 megawatts a year. We've been making 101 up to 108 every year. So we've got 517 megawatts of electricity we've actually produced in the last 5 years. So we are definitely keeping up with our goal. And you can see that after 5 years, there's really been no drop in the amount. It all depends on how much light we have, and how much snow we don't have, really. But you can see that we're doing very well with the panels. Next. Okay, so my last slide. I told you to make it quick. There are 3 ways that we save money. Net and virtual metering. I can explain that to you if you want me to, or if the supervisors want me to. PP&L purchases all of our excess electricity, and we get paid for that. And solar renewable energy credits, which we can sell online. Other people want to take credit for it, other electric companies, because then they can say they are producing the what's the word, sustainable energy, even though they're not. They take credit for it. They pay us to do that. So we get it, we keep it, we use it, but they say, hey, it's mine. Anyway, in the first, you can see the previous years. I've added in the year 5 totals. Total to date then for virtual net metering is $33,485 we've brought in. PP&L purchase, over $30,000 they've purchased. And solar renewable energy credits we've saved, or we've gotten checks for $15,109. The purchase of PP&L and the solar renewable energy credits all come in with checks to the township. The other is just the savings off of what we've used. Okay. The purchase price was originally $169,000. We projected the life of the system out to probably 40 years and saving of $500,000. The projected ROI, we had estimated 11 years, or more like 10 years right now, because we've already recuperated 47% of the initial investment. So we're looking at maybe 10 or 10 and a half years right now. It depends on how the electricity costs go up. If they keep going up, we know what AI is going to do. If they keep going up, then we're just saving more and more money here, because all of our it's all covered. Everything's covered, really, right? Maintenance and repairs, nothing. We don't expect any. There's no moving parts on this thing other than a little thing inside the inverters that just converts electricity from DC power to AC power. That's it. Everything else goes straight into the breaker box. So simple. Does anybody have any questions? I think I have extra time.
I was just going to ask if there's monitoring on the panels to see the capacity and see if there's actual.
That's a good question. Yes. If you go out to the West Rock Hill website, and if you go to the community tab and do a pull down, there's a tab for solar in there. And we have a live metering system in there that came from the solar company. And you can see everything that's going on. There's a history for the last 5 years. There's charts you can build. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with it there. But it's live. It's a live thing. I go up, look at it a couple of times a day. One of the things we can look at is every panel and the production of each panel.
Okay.
So we can see if one panel is producing less than the other.
Get them or whatever.
And we can, and we watch it, and it's a Solar Edge that creates that. But Exact Solar, the company we bought it from, they also monitor it. And supposedly they're going to call us if something goes wrong.
So you get
I've
alerted.
called them once before because we had a problem. They didn't see it, but
Okay.
and it just turned out to be a replacement they had to do. So yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it, Jim.
Yep. Thank you. See you next year.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is the committee reports. First on here is the Planning Commission report. Mr. Durstein, how are you?
Good. How you doing tonight?
Good.
All right. So the Planning Commission met last Tuesday. We had 2 presenters. First was Tim Snyder. He has a 1.54 acre lot on Greentop Road in the PC2 district. He wants to build a residence. We don't allow just a regular residence in the planned commercial. So he is allowed to have a residence with a business, or business with a residence, E20 or the E29. So he's proposing to build a residence with an attached garage that his son wants to move into and run a small G4 contractor service business out of. So he has a plan. He has a septic area. He does not have a secondary septic area. Being that it's a commercial area, he can use a holding tank, but he wants to use the septic. So he also has a spot where he can do a Fourier controlled fill. There's a lot going on here. So we came up with the idea of he'd have to get a waiver on the secondary septic area and use a holding tank area. He doesn't have to install the holding tank, but have an area to be able to put a holding tank in if his septic fails. So to do that, again, he'd have to get a waiver. He would be able to build the attached garage and the residence. He wouldn't be able to use the residence for 4 years until he gets the secondary fill site to pass. So what he wants to do is build, do the fill site, and his son would run the business out of the attached garage, but would not be able to live in the residence for 4 years.
If it passed.
If it passes, yeah.
Yeah.
A little roll of the dice there. So he's willing, I mean, he was amenable to that. He's willing to do road widening, curbs. He'd have to move the residences into a buffer zone. He's got to readjust some things, but he's going to come back and see if we can make things work. So that's it in a nutshell. There's a lot going on there. So you were there.
Yep. It was interesting.
It was interesting. Yeah, we were really knocking heads on that and trying to figure out how to make it work. But so that's it for that. We didn't take any action on it. So any questions on that one?
I have none.
No questions.
All right. So second was Henry Parker Properties, and they are here tonight to present. So I'll keep this brief. They recently acquired the commercial building at the corner of Meeting House and Clymer. They are looking to put how big is that? 192 square foot addition on 33 feet tall to put an extruding machine, I'll call it. You make coaxial cable. Pretty low impact, just a handful of employees. And I'll let them explain what they're going to do, but they were looking for a waiver of land development and with the minimal amount of construction they want to do. And, they're way beyond or way under impervious surface, no new traffic, no heavy employees. So we're recommending waiver of land development. And that is all I have. You have any questions?
No questions.
Yeah,
I was there. Yeah, thank you.
I want to thank you for a very thorough report.
That's all I do.
Yep. And that's why we trust our planning commission. So with that, I will entertain a motion for approval of the planning commission report.
I will make a motion.
Okay, motion's been made. I'll second it. All those signify by saying aye. Aye. Ayes have it. Next up, Park and Rec report. Jody, how are you?
How are you?
Doing well.
Good. Hi everyone. I was not at the meeting.
You were missed.
We're on vacation, which was pretty cool. I know. I'm getting over a cold. I know. I'm finally getting to almost the 50, guys, and I have to wear glasses now, so excuse me. A couple updates that Maggie gave me. Septemberfest, if everyone has not been to Septemberfest, it's 9-27, 12-4. Always a great time. We're filing details. We have all the norm and all the cool things happening as usual. We're kind of really excited. A lot of details are happening. Movie in the park, October 17th. It's Finding Dory. Details, again, it will be posted. I will post it online. The one thing I know we talked about, it was a tree on Hafler Trail cleanup at the Manderfield Field. They were talking about getting, WCD Landscape to move the tree, but it's going to cost a decent amount of money. So Dave said that he would go and check the trail, and I think some volunteers might be able to clean it up. So that might save us some money. So that's pretty cool. Number 3, the playground across the street. It's been there for 20 plus years. It's been used a lot. We are still trying to clean up things because of Septemberfest happening. So we asked the road crew, the amazing guys that we have, to do resurfacing, repainting, clean up anything that's slightly broken or railroad ties to replace. And I think there's only like 4 or 3 that need to be replaced. So we are also having a meeting for November with a company called Playworks, which does the playground over there. They're going to come to our meeting and see what we can come up with. Because as you all know, playground equipment and everything else along with it, we looked into things and it could cost anything from $10,000 to like $70,000. It is quite expensive. I know we have a lot in our account and we're very thankful for that, but each year we're only allowed to spend X amount of dollars each year. So we're trying to use our budget wisely for each year. And I think they're going to add mulch and get it ready pretty for Septemberfest. But anything else you have any questions for?
No, I think it's good.
Good.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the Park and Rec report.
I will make a motion.
Motion's been made. I'll second it. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the next item is the Conservation Committee report.
Hey, Tim.
How are you? Good.
Name's Tim Curran. I'm the newest member of the Conservation Committee. Been there about a year. It's my first Board of Supervisors meeting, so. thank
Welcome
you for
aboard,
having
Tim.
me. So our last meeting was July 16th. 4 out of 5 members were present. First item we spoke about was Septemberfest. The Conservation Committee plans to have a booth this year again. It was successful last year. We're going to have the map showing the conservation easements throughout the township. We're going to provide copies of the conservation easement brochure. It's also out there. And we're going to offer reusable Conservation Committee tote bags for a donation. The second item was the conservation postcards. So we briefly discussed creating an updated list of large parcel landowners and sending a new round of conservation easement postcards. We're going to identify those parcels at our next meeting and discuss who should receive one of those. And the last item was the Conservation Committee article in the township newsletter. It was a very nice article. The Conservation Committee is going to request that the articles be placed next to the conservation map in each newsletter going forward, and in a location that supports our efforts to promote land preservation and kind of get more visibility throughout the township to let everybody know what we do. Our next meeting will be held September 17th at 5 p.m. They are open to the public. You're welcome to come out. That's my report.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Okay. Any questions regarding it? If
No
not,
questions.
I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion's been made. I'll second it. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you. All right, next, moving forward,
Hey, Chief.
Penn Ridge Regional Police Department Chief Report. Chief Dickinson, how are you?
Spectacular, Mr. Kaiser. How are you?
I'm doing all right, thank you.
Glad to hear that. I have the July 2026 activity report for the Penn Ridge Regional Police Department. Police Department has responded to 766 calls for service in the month of July. 295 of them were in East Rock Hill Township. 457 were here in West Rock Hill Township, with the remaining 14 calls assisting our neighboring agencies. The department responded and investigated 17 traffic crashes in the month of July. 7 were reportable, 10 were non-reportable, with 6 occurring in East Rock Hill Township and 11 of them occurring in West Rock Hill Township. Criminal activity or reported crimes for the month of July included 11 crimes against property, 2 crimes against persons, 2 crimes against society, and 6 Group B offenses. Those reported crimes included in East Rock Hill Township a report of a theft, a report of trespassing, 2 reports of frauds, 2 identity thefts, and 2 reported thefts. In West Rock Hill Township, we responded to 1 DUI, 4 trespassing complaints, 2 harassment complaints, 2 fraud complaints, 1 theft, 1 simple assault complaint, and 2 reports of drug possession. The criminal charges that we filed in the month of July included 15 charges. 5 of them were for trespassing. 1 was for possession of drugs. 2 were for possession of drug paraphernalia. 1 charge of simple assault. 1 charge of recklessly endangering another person, leaving the scene of a traffic crash. A charge of theft by deception. receiving stolen property, receiving payment for services without completing the work, and then 2 charges of DUI. The police department conducted 186 traffic enforcement details. We issued 136 traffic citations, 116 traffic warnings, conducted 94 park checks, 55 business checks, and officers participated or attended 224 hours of training in July. So far for the year, the police department has responded to 5,221 calls for service, investigated and responded to 162 traffic accidents. 261 offenses have been reported to the police department. 167 criminal charges have been filed, and officers have participated and attended 2,355 hours of training so far in 2026. That would be your July 2026 activity report for the Penn Ridge Regional Police Department.
Very good. Thank you, Chief.
That was great.
Is there, if there's no other
I
questions?
have no
I
questions.
will entertain a motion for approval.
I will make a motion.
Motion's been made. I'll second it. All those signify by saying aye. Aye. Have
Thank
a
you,
great
gentlemen.
night, Chief. Be
Thanks,
safe.
Chief.
Okay, next on the agenda here is the Joint Rec Authority report. You will read it, Mr.?
Angela could not make it. I asked her if there was anything that she wanted me to highlight. She had nothing in particular. I don't know if the board has any questions.
No, I don't have any questions, but I will share that I was one of the attendees that went down to their appreciation picnic last week and looked over the pool. The pool was in pretty decent shape. It is functioning, and I was quite surprised with the amount of people that showed up for the appreciation picnic. So with that being said, I'll just leave it as the pool is moving along. I don't think we need to have a motion for a report or anything like that. Just wanted to share that information with everybody. So with that being said, moving forward, the next on the agenda is tax collector's report. Suzanne Clark.
Suzanne couldn't make it tonight. She said to report $107.25 in annual taxes and $162.94 for interim taxes. Extra hours are Friday, August 21st, 10 to 1, Thursday, August 27th, 10 to 1, Friday, August 28th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., and Monday, August 31st, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Okay. Which if everyone isn't aware, August 31st is the last day that you can pay with the bonus or the discount. So that being said, I will entertain a motion for approval of the report that Greg read.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, I'll second it. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you. All right, moving forward. Next on the agenda is the engineer's report. Mr. Steve Balla.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first item on the agenda is the Gunts Minor Subdivision Plan on Shoecraft Road. It's a 2-lot subdivision. We have representatives here tonight from the applicant, and I'll let them give you an overview.
Good evening, Scott McMacken with Cowan Associates. The application before you is a minor subdivision, 2-lot subdivision. Has frontage on Shoecraft, Allentown, and Ridge Valley Roads. The proposal is the overall property is about 60 acres in size. The proposal is to carve off a 4-acre lot. Kind of an unusual shape here. This is the entire property here. 4-acre property here. And the remnant 56-acre tract will be left. The intent is to restrict lot number 2, the 56-acre lot from further subdivision. We'll also get a non-building waiver from DEP for that lot. We were before the Planning Commission on July 14th. They did recommend approval. There was a review letter from Steve dated May 7th. Essentially, although there's some minor cleanup comments in there from the plan, which we have made already. We haven't resubmitted, but we've made already, and they're all will complies. There is a fair number of waivers associated with the minor subdivision. There's a waiver letter dated March 31st and revised July 16th that has 12 waivers and deferrals listed. I can go through them point by point if you'd like. But the Planning Commission recommended all those waivers and deferrals as well.
I was there, I heard.
Yeah, I would just point out that the main deferral item is that they don't have the final design for the house and the stormwater yet. So the deferral would be to allow them to do that. at a later date when they're getting ready to submit their building permit.
And it comes back.
And then it would go through the normal process through the township office. It doesn't have to come back to this.
And there'll be a note on the thing saying that we deferred till then?
There'll be a covenant
Covenant,
recorded.
okay.
That's correct.
Yep.
Yes.
Perfect.
All right, I'm good with that.
That sounds good.
Okay, is that your report?
Yeah, that's all I have unless there's
Okay.
questions.
All right, I don't have any questions. I feel comfortable with that statement. Mr. Rice, okay, are you making a motion to,
Well, we-
authorize, we got to authorize
We gotta authorize.
advertisement?
You could direct me to prepare a resolution for next month's meeting at which your desires. would
That,
be-
that's what we need to do.
That'd be great.
All right,
I'll make a
so
motion for
you'll-
Dave to.
prepare a resolution. All right,
In accordance with the recommendations of the township engineer. I would note there's one condition for a contribution fees in lieu of street improvements for $7,000 for each new building lot. I would suggest we go along with that as well as Mr. Bell's other recommendations. But aside from that, I have no other comment.
That would be great.
fair enough. Okay, Mr. Rice made a motion. I will second it. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it.
And just for procedural, Scott, I don't remember last time you were here. Generally, what we do is the prepared resolution, it will be sent to you in the Gunst, and if we get a response, like an email response back that you're comfortable with as written, then you don't have to attend the next meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep.
Are you here for the next?
I'm here
one?
for the next one,
That's
too.
why I was confused. I mean, I knew that, but
He's a popular guy tonight, right?
The next is the Henry Parker properties, which Mr. Durstein talked about at the Planning Commission review, the waiver of land development. So let's Scott talk about that.
Yeah, this one also is a fairly minor application. It's an existing building on Meeting House Road and Clymer. The proposal is for a small building addition, 10 by 16, on the rear of the building. The owners are here if you'd like to have any more detail, but so this is the property, it's an existing building, parking lot and access in the front, small building addition in the back here. It's going to be a small, but it's going to be a tall building addition. It's going to be about 33 feet high and about 7 feet into the ground. It's for a piece of extruding equipment. Mr. Bowen makes a coaxial cable. So it's a tall piece of equipment in the building that's going to make that cabling. Steve has a review letter dated June 29th. Again, some minor cleanup items, typos, things like that they need to clean up. But given the minor nature of the application, we're asking for a land development waiver for this one. There's almost no disturbance other than, that 192 square feet of building addition.
No issues with stormwater management or anything like that?
No, the stormwater basin was over-designed for the original development to allow for some additional impervious surface, and they're still under that amount.
Yeah, there's a stormwater basin located on the north side here, you can kind of see. And there was actually on the original development plan, there was a proposal for some additional paving and access into the building that was never built. So we're about 2,800 square feet under the impervious limit from the previous application.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Sounds good.
All right, so what do we need to do tonight? Steve?
Well, we could go the resolution route. We have done on some of the small projects as an approval letter instead of the resolution, if you're comfortable with that, based on the minor issues in the engineering review correspondence. Then they wouldn't have to wait till the next meeting. We've done that on rare occasions for minor.
Mr. Solicitor?
Because it's a full waiver of the whole process, that's easier to do than section by section resolution waivers. Either way is fine with me.
Okay.
I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I was at the planning commission meeting, so I heard all the details. I'm okay with that.
So are you making a motion?
I will make a motion for it to be in form of,
To direct the solicitor to send an approval letter of the waiver process.
Yes.
In accordance with the recommendation of township engineer.
correct.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, motion's been made. I'll second it. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
And then last, we have the reserve at Rock Hill on Green Top Road. It was Salapio. land development that was approved some time ago. Ran into some issues at the start of construction, and they're here tonight to explain the current situation.
Thank you, Mr. Bella. Good evening, Carl Wiener, representing Sal Lapio Homes.
Okay.
As Mr. Bella said in his statement, the township previously reviewed and approved a 7-lot subdivision located on Green Top Road at Catch Basin Road. As part of the approval process, in due course, the applicant had the property study for wetlands, had a consultant that he hired, an expert, prepare a wetland report, relied on that wetland report in preparing and submitting the land development plans, which were ultimately approved by the township. So subsequent to that approval, he received the appropriate permits, went out to start clearing and site improvement on the property, and at that point discovered that, well, there are actually wetlands on the property. So having discovered that, the applicant stopped work on the property immediately, went out and got another consultant to look at the property, and in fact found, that consultant found that there are in fact wetlands on the property. So we know we have to deal with that. And our engineer, who I will let you talk here in more detail, prepared a revised set of plans, is working on that process, met with township staff, and we are addressing the wetland issues, obviously showing the wetlands this time. One issue that came up in the initial preliminary review was a question of shared driveways. We got the feedback that the township would prefer not to have shared driveways, and we have modified the plan accordingly to have individual driveways for each of the 7 lots. And then with respect to the wetlands, it is clear that the driveways will need to cross wetlands in certain locations. We've tried to minimize and mitigate these wetland crossings, but that will be the subject in due course of a conditional use application that we will file and provide further detail to you about, and asking for conditional use approval for that. The other aspect of that is we will require some encroachment into wetland buffers, and that will require zoning relief. And we are asking for relief also from the concept that wetland buffers are not included in the site capacity for that property. That's something, again, we need to file a zoning application and have that heard by the zoning hearing board. So Jeremy Hoagland is here. He's a project engineer. He's been involved in all of this. I'll let him explain this to you in a little more detail because I'm just an attorney, but he can give you the, the full read on this.
Thank you, Carl.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Good evening. My name is Jeremy Hoagland from the Crossroads Group. I'm the project manager for this project for quite a long time. We got through and got approval, as Carl had said, and he hit a lot of the highlights. What you see, and I brought handouts if you prefer, smaller handouts if you want them, or you can look at the board. That's the approved plan. That's what you see there. So let me go through some of the proposed changes. Again, as Carl said, we're working on redesign. It's more than concept. It's not a full design yet. We have a lot of hurdles to get through, but what I did do, if you don't mind going to the exhibit plans, keep going. The other PDF.
Nope, that's all I had. I thought I switched them with what you just gave me.
Ah, okay. Well, that's all right. That's why I brought a board. Give me 1 second. I'll hand these out. I covered the letter I submitted.
Yep.
And what you'll see is the approved. Need more than that?
Yes.
Thank you.
The ones in. Once.
Steve, you need one.
I go.
I do nothing extra.
No, but
You don't, I don't. need it.
Is this all right if I just hold this up, or do you want me to?
Put it right there.
Okay.
Take this one. I'll take it.
What's in your packet is these diagrams. It's just what's on the PowerPoint is not.
So what you see, that's the approved plan. The dark gray that you see on here are the wetlands, just the wetlands. That does not include the buffers. We had to do some lot reconfiguration, particularly lots 4 and lot 3. We previously had a flag along the edge of the property, the outbound parcel. We flipped that flag and it's a split driveway that comes down along here and back to lot 4. It's a little unorthodox, the configuration of that. The reason that is that way, we have to, for waters and wetlands encroachments DEP, we want to minimize any crossing that we can. It's an obligation of the permitting. So we're going through the narrowest places with the driveways to minimize impacts to the wetlands. As Carl had said, driveway utility crossings are a conditional use. It's something we know will have to come before the board for the driveways and utilities only as a conditional use, but that's why you see that somewhat, as I said, unorthodox lot configuration between those two lots. There was one other lot line change from the approved plan that is down between lot 6 and lot 7 in this area. If you look on the plan up on the screen, lot 7 was a nice square lot. We cut the corner off, the northwest corner. And again, that was just to allow the driveway to not impact wetlands. We had the lot area, everything complies. Other than that, but you can see just a little corner that's going to be cut off there to, again, accommodate and not impact the wetlands. Do you have any questions so far?
I have one there, Jeremy, right?
Yes.
The driveway that you said was, the one that was at the front there about, you mentioned something about a shared driveway?
It is not, it's a twin driveway. It's not shared.
Okay,
If
can
I
you-
said shared, I apologize. It's a
Can
twin
you
driveway.
explain that to me, that what you mean by twin?
So it's 2 driveways side by side
Mhm.
with a gap in between. We're running the property line between the gap. So there's actually 2 independent accesses
Okay,
out to Catch Basin Road.
All right.
As we discussed with staff about a shared, I understand that's not ideal in the township. So this seemed like a good fit. So it's 2 independent driveways, but again, they are very close to each other because we're trying to minimize disturbance in the wetlands, but they are independent, split by a property line. There's no cross ownership between them. Between
when
the two
you
lot
say
lines.
split by a property, how much space would you estimate is in between? Can you tell me how much space is in between those 2 driveways?
I believe I have 2 feet. I believe I have 2 feet between the edge of each driveway. So it'd be a foot to the property line on either side.
So if we got a 12 to 15-inch snowstorm, what happens if the one property plows the snow and it goes on the other guy's driveway?
Could,
Yeah.
it could
And
affect one.
we get some deep snows. I'm
Yeah.
thinking ahead here because I've had some experience in this.
I understand.
So it is a concern. It is a concern of mine, having 2 driveways that are that close together. I do understand that if somebody was smart, they could plow all the snow to one side. However, when you have a deep snow and drifts in the aspect of 30 inches or so, and you have to use a V plow to break your way through it, you're gonna get snow that goes on each side. And I won't say guy, I'll say property owner. One property owner could be plowing snow on the other guy's driveway, and then that guy could get irritated and plow all the snow back on his drive. And then you see what happens here. Then now the township's involved,
I do.
okay, because somebody comes to the township complaining,
I do.
or they call the police,
Yeah.
and then something else happens.
So is there, I have the obligation with DEP to try and minimize the crossing, but if there is a minimum separation, again, this is concept, so we're not even to a new submission, but if there's a distance that is coming to the engineer and yourselves, we'll work with you the best we can and try and give a little wider room there.
I'm not quite sure what that distance is. I'm only bringing this to your attention because I see an issue.
Yeah.
After these homes are sold.
By ordinance, Mr. Kaiser, it's 5 feet from the property line, which would make 10 feet between the driveways.
Okay.
That's what the subdivision ordinance.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, for that information.
I'm going to be restricted with DEP on how we handle that too, but we'll do everything we can to work with
Okay.
everybody. This is not the circumstance we thought we'd be in this spring.
Understand.
Is there any more questions about this plan? Okay. This plan, which you have in your packets too, shows the lot reconfiguration, the house relocation, stormwater basin relocation. What I did for this is take the approved basin footprints and shifted them to areas outside of the wetlands, okay? We didn't rerun a complete routing analysis yet, but taking the footprint and the volume and moving it around, I think this is going to be very close to what conceivably could be approved. And we still have to go through township review and everything. And we're gonna have to file a major modification for MBDS permits. And that's after we get the waters and wetlands encroachment permits from DEP for the crossings. But the most important thing that you see here, and hopefully you can see it, there's like a crosshatch in between the dark gray spots. And it covers, I think, about 9 acres. That is the wetland buffer that's required by the township zoning ordinance. You can see the impact to the site that has. So we are trying very hard to minimize any disturbance of wetlands, but the wetlands buffers, and actually it's 7.06 acres of wetlands buffers. We have about 4.42 acres of wetlands, so almost twice as much for the buffer area. The relief that we would need to incorporate this plan from the zoning hearing board would be to essentially grant relief from the wetland buffer requirements of the site capacity calcs. And that's documented in the letter too that I provided. That same section also restricts any type of construction within the wetland buffer area. So we're asking your input on that potential zoning variance request.
Can I say this to you very honestly? I don't want to comment at all on what might affect or be determined by the zoning hearing board, because they are a separate governing body. They're a separate body that has to rule on their own. For us to comment on that, I don't think would be appropriate.
Okay.
Do you mind if I jump in for a second, Mr. Kaiser?
You may.
I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. You are, in your letter from August 4th, it looks like you're asking the board to really give input on 2 different requests you're going to make. The first will be for conditional use. And I would agree that the board really shouldn't comment on a conditional use prior to actually hearing it, because they're going to hear it eventually someday. But as for the variance that goes to the zoning hearing board, are you asking the board for discussion and comment on the board's position for the variance that would go to the zoning hearing board? Whether the board would be neutral, opposed, in agreement, that sort of thing? Is that really what you're asking to discuss tonight?
That's the only reason we're here. We realize
Okay.
things are conceptual. We realize there's a lot of detail we have to work out. We realize we have to do our job before the zoning hearing board, present our case, present them with the information, and allow them to make the decision. So we're not asking you to pre-decide this or to comment on it, but we're just trying to get a feel from you as to whether this is something you will send your solicitor in to oppose, or whether this is a case where you will allow the zoning hearing board to simply hear the case and make its decision.
Okay, fair enough.
And I think that's a fair request.
Yeah.
If the board wants to discuss the variance request, that's all right. That would be relating to excluding the wetland buffer areas, the slash areas that you see from the calculation of the site capacity. But anything related to crossing wetlands and wetland buffers, that will be conditional use. And I don't think the board should comment on that, because you'll be the decider of that eventually.
Fair enough.
And I'd rely on our engineer, his input relating to the advisability of taking a position on the variance request. That's science and engineering. I'm not qualified to necessarily comment on all that. So not to put you on the spot, but I'll turn it over to you, Steve, if you have comment.
Well, I'll sidestep that. Say, Jeremy, can you give us a number of what the disturbance is of the 7 acres of wetland buffer? Do you have a ballpark
No.
of that?
I cannot. I did not calculate what the disturbance within that area would be. To be quite honest, I was a little hesitant to go down that route because I didn't want to present something that could shift through the permitting and approval process. I
Right.
can get that number.
Well, yeah, and I'm just looking at it. It's not half. I mean, there's a substantial amount of that crosshatched area that remains undisturbed.
That's true.
That's fair to say.
Yeah, it is not half, but I don't know how close to half it would be.
You know, as far as the technical side, the Army Corps, DEP, they only regulate wetlands. They don't regulate wetland buffers. Our ordinance happens to, and a lot of municipal ordinance has wetland buffers. Many municipal ordinances have a disturbance allowance. Say it's 20%, some small amount of disturbance. That's not uncommon in a lot of municipal ordinances for the wetland buffer. You do not happen to have that. You have 100% protection. And the only other thing I can say is we haven't had this question in the past that I could remember anyway, come up. That we had a development that had a wetland issue at all, actually.
Well, I'd just like to say from my position, I would be neutral. I would be absolutely neutral.
Okay.
I'm not favoring one way or another. I'm neutral. I do believe that we have committees in place to do their job, and we will see what the result comes from that. But I am neutral. I
Okay.
believe everybody has the right and the opportunity to come in and present a plan, and if we can get it approved, then we go through the process.
I appreciate the details, but I believe it should go to zoning hearing board.
Same as,
Yeah, I'll remain neutral on that.
Now, would the board like to direct the solicitor to send a letter indicating the board's neutral position to the zoning hearing board when it gets listed? Just so the zoning board knows what the position is and isn't left to wonder, or?
I will make.
We should wait till we see their
Well,
application.
first of all, we'll see the application, but thinking forward, thinking ahead.
We're gonna hold off on that yet.
I won't send any letters yet.
No letter.
I need to see an application first.
Thank you.
if there's any more questions, are you all good?
We're all good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
appreciate
your
it.
time. Thank you, Carl. Yep.
Thank you.
And that's all I have under the engineer's report. Unless there's any other questions.
It's great. Thank you.
Mr. Rice, do you have any other questions?
No questions.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made to approve the engineer's report. I'll second it. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay. Let's see where we're at. Moving forward. This report, Mr. Dave Keatley, how are you?
Good evening again, sir. Good. How are you? My first item is to discuss and ask the board to discuss and see if there's public comment on a new potential water and sewer service agreement that the township would consider to enter into with Telford Regional Authority, formerly known as Telford Borough Authority, same entity, different name. The township has been operating under an agreement with TBA, I'll call them TRA under their current name, since April of 1977. It is, I guess that's almost 50 years. It's good to, from time to time, look at your agreements. We look back at the 77 agreement and a lot of it is obsolete. It talks about projects which have long been finished, Percy Interceptor, things like that. And there's, on the other hand, not a lot about day-to-day operations, townships' rights, authorities' rights, things like that. So some other agreements have been entered into with the township and other authorities over the more recent years. So we're presenting to you tonight a draft of an agreement to discuss, to potentially authorize to share with Telford Regional Authority in consideration of really modernizing our relationship with them as far as water and sewer service goes. Is there any questions at this point, or would you like to open it up for discussion about specifics? At this point, we're really at just the introductory phase. If there's any comments on modifications you'd like us to make before sharing it with Telford Regional to start the discussion, if you like it as it is. But really, that's all I have by way of introduction. If there's any other questions, comments, points of specification and clarification,
So
I'm all ears.
So it's basically a cleanup.
It's a
of the
cleanup. It's,
77 agreement.
it's bringing it modern. And it's also, it's just, if you look at the 77 agreement, it's very clearly long. I mean, most of it's not relevant to us anymore. So, really just to bring it up to speed, make it modern, and add some things that would really protect the township, relating to various property rights and things like that.
Are there any changes to actual sites, regions? Sorry.
Region 1 and Region 2 would remain the same. There would be a proposed carve out of Region 2 for areas zone Village Center, Village Residential, and PI. But just to really make things proceed in an orderly fashion in those particular areas of Region 2 without declaring that Region 1 is fully serviced, to therefore open up to the entirety of Region 2, which extends all the way out to Ridge Road.
Still remains that Region 1 has to be fully.
That does not
Service.
change. That's correct.
Well, I was want to add something about that, because if you recall here some years ago, we got into a situation where some people complained about that, and they said, well, we can't control where the developers buy property, right?
Right.
So are we going to be firm on stating that Region 1 has to be built out before you can move into Region 2?
It's really basically the same language. That's
Yes.
part of the 77 agreement that doesn't really ever expire or become obsolete. So we do bring that over into this.
Those of us that were here in the 2008s and 10s, or, before that, little before that, understand and know what actually happened, has happened. So I'm okay with that. If we do move forward with that,
Mhm.
I don't see a problem with it.
I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I
for
mean, I read through it. I think the wording's a lot cleaner.
the water side of it, no public water service may be established at any location of Region 2 unless and until the Board of Supervisors deems in its sole discretion, not up to anybody else, by resolution that such public water service may be established because of Region 1 being fully serviced at that point. So yes, it really does. That part does not change
Okay.
from the 77 agreement at all.
Thank you.
So
So I asked if any public comment?
yes, yeah.
Okay, at this time, I'll ask if there's any public comment regarding the sewer agreement with Telford Regional Authority. Seeing none? Okay, I believe that we're moving in the right direction.
I think so.
Tonight, I'll just ask for a motion and a vote to authorize my office and the staff to begin discussions with Telford Regional Authority based on the draft you have in front of you. One of the exhibits is a map. I think Steve's office is working on making that a little prettier, because that map, I think, is from 77.
Yeah,
Probably
what
is
you have in a draft is
67.
the 77.
We're gonna maybe make it more crisp and clear and more high resolution, and maybe something we can put on the website. But other than that, what you have in front of you is what we would share with TRA.
Okay.
That sounds good.
So I'll entertain a motion to allow the solicitor's office to prepare.
I will make that motion
And begin the negotiations with
Correct.
TRA based on the draft.
because the draft that is.
Motion's been made. I'll second it. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it.
Okay, thank you. We will begin those discussions promptly.
Thank you, Dave.
We'll bring you back an update next month. Item 2 on my agenda tonight is to introduce version 3 of the data center ordinance for the zoning, data center section of the zoning ordinance. If you were here last month, you heard the Citizens Committee give a pretty thorough presentation on a lot of homework they did. I think, we really do appreciate all the deep diving that you took into other ordinances, model ordinances, seeing what other townships and boroughs have done across the state and even out of the state. So you had a lot of really good and helpful feedback. So tonight, what we've prepared as a draft incorporates basically all of the committee's suggested changes. For some reason, when we printed this out, there was a calculus equation that didn't properly show up. We'll make sure that gets in there in the final version. But the one part that we would not recommend adopting just really had to do with kind of creating a separate township tribunal for, the beginning stages of things. We can't really flip the presumption of innocence on its head and create our own little court system. So really how we would recommend proceeding to enforce the ordinance is just all the other manners in which you can enforce a zoning ordinance under the municipality's planning code and the township ordinances. I think it's a lot easier, cleaner, and I'm not sure the other way would have been legal to do, but the way enforcing it under the MPC and or ordinance is definitely legal. So that's what I would recommend. So we have a draft. It's ordinance number 260 in front of you tonight for, it's really just to introduce and to have any discussion and invite comment if you like tonight. But what we would be asking of the board tonight is authorization for my office to send it to the Township Planning Commission, send it to the County Planning Commission, and send it to the newly appointed Township Planner, Thomas Comita, for his review comments as well. We'll bring you back. I anticipate we'll have comments from all three by our next meeting. At that point, we would bring it back in front of you, see if there's any changes they would recommend. And at that point, consider authorizing us to advertise a draft for a public hearing on the amended version of that. So to recap, I guess first, any board discussion, any public.
Well, the only discussion I have is I believe that we should move in the right process of authorizing the township planner to review this. Before we take any public comment, we get this all in order and then come back with all of our information. And then at that time, we take public comment from people before we vote on anything to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
I think it's good that we're hitting all three of the planning commission, the
Yep.
Bucks County Planning Commission and the
Planner, township planner.
Township planner.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so you need, I guess I'll entertain a motion to direct you.
Do we want to see if there's any public comment just based on the introduced draft tonight? Just to see if there is comment on it.
Any public comment on the draft for the data center?
And again, eventually we'll bring this back.
That is
for a public hearing.
revision 3 or
Version 3.
Version 3.
Version
yes.
3, yes.
Eventually we'll have a public hearing where the 2.5 minutes public comment limit doesn't really apply, at which more public comment could be accepted and considered. But tonight, we may as well see if there's any additional public comment just so we can incorporate.
I don't see anybody raising.
Planners.
I do not see. Oh, here we go. We got one. Up to the podium, please. Your name and address.
Hi, Joanne Natale, 113 Ridge Valley Road. I'm just curious. I haven't read your amendment. I don't know if it's been posted yet, but Governor Shapiro's executive order, does that impact us in what we're in the middle of doing?
We all have a copy of that.
Right. Well,
I shared the order with the board, just for their information. The executive order doesn't really allow us to impose a moratorium like I think a lot of us hoped. But more so the executive order, it talks about directives to the DEP to make a new program for a consent agreement for certain review processes. But our version 3 that we have here tonight, the way I looked at the executive order, I don't think that one affects the other positively or negatively in either way.
and we don't
If
have
that
to
was your
adopt the provisions or anything like that. It's all,
I didn't hear the
It's
first
order.
part of your question. I'm
and
sorry.
we don't have to incorporate any of the provisions into what you're doing now,
Not at all.
and it
No,
doesn't conflict.
no,
All
not
right.
at all.
Great.
Nope.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll move forward.
So I would seek at this point a motion and a vote to authorize my office to share ordinance number 260, the draft, with the Township Planner, County Planning Commission, and the Township Planning Commission, and bring it back to you next month with their comments. That's all I need.
I will make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion made. I'll second it. All those signify by saying aye. Aye, ayes have it.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have for my report tonight.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion for approval of the solicitor's report.
I will make a motion.
I'll second it. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it. Thank you. Next on the agenda, manager's report, Mr. Lippincott.
Thank you, Chairman Kaiser. We have, first item is snow removal bid results. I emailed the boards, the bids. We had 3 bidders. We had Tony Services. We had TJ Wombold Associates and Blooming Glen Contractors. They gave us a list of all the different equipment they had and their prices. My recommendation would be to approve all the bidders.
I couldn't agree more.
Absolutely. After last year, I see no reason not to.
Okay, so you making an motion?
I'll make it a motion.
Okay.
Yes.
Motion made. I'll second it. All those signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it.
Thank you. The next item is a resolution for the Bucks County 2026 Hazard Mitigation Plan. Every several years, Bucks County does a hazard mitigation plan for the entire county, which has included West Rock Hill Township and what we have to do for grants and whatnot for emergencies and declarations of emergencies and to get federal funding, you have to adopt the county hazard mitigation plan. So you have a resolution before you saying that you're going to adopt the hazard mitigation plan of Bucks County.
Thank you. Yep. I read it. It's good.
Yep.
So all I need is a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion.
I
We
will
adopt it.
second that.
And there's a motion made in a second. All those signify by saying aye. Aye. Ayes have it. You good.
The last item I have is authorization to go out to bid for milling Catch Basin Road from Forest Road to Green Top Road. In our August storm, when we got all the rain, a lot of our patch paving just got picked up and removed. So we met with Steve, the engineer, and said probably the most expedient fix is just to mill it in place.
You're talking about the piece from Forest Road to the Burger property roughly?
Correct.
Okay.
Green tub.
Yep. Well, most of it's stone past the Burger property.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could skip the paving back to the lake, from Forest to the lake, and the paving that's at the Green Top Road end.
Okay.
Essentially, it's the same thing that we did to Old Mill Road.
Yep.
The first process that we did to Old Mill Road. Then we came along and paved it, but since we're late in the year and don't have the ability or the budget to do another paving project, we can at least get that first part done.
So it's stabilized.
Get it regraded and roll it back in.
Okay.
It'll be stable and it won't be full of holes in the township. We'll be able to maintain it.
I like
So,
that.
so you need authorization to do that.
To advertise to go out to bid, and then the bids will come back, and then if the board is acceptable to the prices, they would accept the bids.
I'm okay with that.
Make a motion, bro?
I will make a motion
Okay,
for
I'll
that.
second it. All those signify by saying aye. Aye. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's all I have.
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the manager's report as presented.
I will second that.
Motion been made and second. All those signify by saying aye. Aye. All right. Old business, it says here, consideration, proposal, settlement, litigation. We're gonna table this tonight, 904 Ridge Road. So we don't need to act on it. I'm just gonna say
No.
I'm tabling it, okay? Next on the agenda is, do you have any other old business, by the way?
I do not.
Okay. Any new business?
No, I can't wait for September Fest.
Okay. All right. That being said, I'm moving forward. Any public comment? If you have public comment, can you please step up? Raise your hand, step up. And state your name and address. If you have public comment, yes. Mr.
Just real quick.
Hold on, wait, just so they can hear you.
Dennis Van Orstown, 180 Old Mill Road. I just appreciate the guy that came and did the charge of the roads. Did a great job.
The mowing guy, yes.
Yeah, man, he really did a nice job.
He has
Even
been doing,
cleaned up the tree, like the limbs on the side,
Yep.
so you could see out your driveway. Thank you.
we will make sure we pass that along, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Denny.
All right, any other public comment? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjournment into executive session.
I will make that motion.
Okay, I'll second it. All those signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for your input.
Thank you.
Zip.